So let me explain to you what lawlessness is. It is a rejection of how God rules the world. You need to know that the Bible has a lot of laws, and lawlessness is dishonoring, disregarding, disobeying the laws of God and other rightful authority and laws that God gives. The reason for lawlessness is largely we don't want to believe in any external authority. We want to be our own authority. And we live in a day, for those of you who are younger, you have been brainwashed to think that there is no external authority, truth, or reality beyond you. And it's largely weaponized by a progressive agenda around sex and gender and sexuality. So for example, there are facts and then there are feelings. And the question is, which is most true? Well, our culture has decided that it's feelings. Okay, here's the fact. I'm a man. Okay, I'm a man. Am I a minotaur? No. Am I a radio? No. Am I a woman? No. Am I a female minotaur radio? No. Okay, so but I would say now you're judging me. That's not how I feel. Now I feel judged. And thank you for judging me, by the way. I needed it, obviously needed it. So the question is, are there facts or are there feelings? And when the facts and feelings are not in alignment, which one has authority? And our culture has decided your feelings. And so lawlessness really truly is, there is no authority, there's no reality, there's no truth beyond what you feel. And so ultimately what lawlessness is, it's a rejection of the facts. Like the laws of biology would say, I am a man. They'd say, well, let's reject those facts if you don't feel that way. Number two, lawlessness is often the result of bitterness and vengeance. Someone says or does something that is wrong, and rather than forgiving them and trusting God to deal with them, you get bitter and you invite demonic forces into your life, and then you seek to do vengeance. It's like, well, if they did evil, I'm gonna do evil. What that is, that's lawlessness. It's saying they broke the law, therefore I get to break the law. And the result is just a lawless world of anarchy. And number three, when it comes to lawlessness, what happens is those who are lawless are also very clever. So what they will do, they will deny or violate a law, either God's law or the rightful law of some governing authority, and they will have no conscience in breaking the law. But what happens if you break what they perceive to be a law? They're going to hold you accountable to a standard they deny. And this is what happens all the time in our world. People that are soft-minded, people that have joined the cult of empathy, people who are on the progressive side of the fight, they will see evil, say something, and then those who did the evil will say, you didn't say it right, you weren't nice, you weren't loving, you weren't kind, you've got some issues in your own life. Oh my goodness, then let's deny all laws altogether, and I'll be held to a standard by you that you don't hold yourself to. And the result is just a culture of anarchy. And so this spirit of lawlessness, it has overtaken parenting. Children are literally told, just grow up, just dishonor, disregard, disobey your mother and father. Lawlessness. In addition, this is behind the entire defund the police movement, which was a disaster. It's like, hey, let's have less cops and see what happens. Well, I'll tell you, hell comes up, sets everything on fire, and the bad guys take control because evil is real, and if you don't stop it, it never stops itself. This also leads to this spirit of lawlessness, to a weakening of military, so that we have all kinds of progressive ideological agendas that have nothing to do with killing bad guys. And this ultimately as well leads to open borders and just this sense of lawlessness. And let me just tell you this, what we're dealing with today is just from top to bottom, it's lawlessness. That's the issue. 3 questions. Number 1, are you lawless? Before we look at lawlessness and the man of lawlessness, you gotta ask yourself, am I lawless? Am I a person that doesn't like authority, doesn't like to submit to laws, doesn't want to be governed by anyone other than myself? Number 2, if you're not a lawless person, is there any area of your life that is lawless? You're gonna meet a man today called the man of lawlessness. And I don't think he begins as entirely lawless like most of us. He's probably going to begin with having lawlessness in one area of his life that eventually overtakes all of his life. If you're lawless in your spirituality, your finances, your sexuality, whatever the case may be, eventually lawlessness continues to invade and overtake your life until you're entirely lawless. And 3, are you willing to deal with your own lawlessness and recognizing that as sin and giving that to the Lord Jesus? Because here's what happens. If you're a lawless person, eventually, the Bible teaches today that you'll end up following the man of lawlessness.
Hey, howdy, Pastor Mark here. Thanks for viewing the clip. And if you'd like the entire sermon, we've got it ready to go.